Hi, this is Joseph Anthony of tappingwithmusic.com. Thank you so much for stopping by. This is going to be just a little mini thing on teaching second grade in the Waldorf schools. These are my ideas. These are not endorsed by the school I teach in, the Waldorf School of Philadelphia, nor Oz, nor anything. These are Waldorf-inspired ideas that I have used in my experience, and I just want to share them with you. So take them for what you will. Hopefully you find them helpful. This will probably end up being a two-part thing where I'll talk a little bit about second grade and my ideas about it, and in the second one I'll give you some ideas for songs and poems and stuff that I've used. But for now, second grade, the way I see second grade in the Waldorf-inspired classroom is a continuation of first grade. And in first grade, my goals for my students when I taught first grade were to make them feel comfortable, to make them love being in the classroom, to help them love themselves and each other and me. Really, to be comfortable. That was the overarching goal for first grade, and that continues to be the overarching goal in second. You might automatically be thinking, oh my gosh, no, the goals are, place value, lowercase letters, vowels, and all those, to me, are secondary to what I feel like I'm doing in the second grade. If we think about Steiner's idea that at around the age 7 in the change of teeth, the life forces, the etheric, whatever you want to call it, is being born. It's being born so it can help form character, habits, good inclinations, the memory. And so we're dealing with a force that is young. It's around 1 year old when we get it in first and second grade. It's a very young force. And we're really not meant to tax it with over-intellectualized stuff in first and second grade. For me, first and second grade are laying the foundations for future learning. So if some of the keys to first and second grade are reverence, veneration, this sense of discipleship, this sense of authority, the love that a teacher feels for their students and the love the students feel for their teacher, that is the groundwork for the later years. And if I can help these children feel comfortable and love learning and feel that they will do anything for me, then I've succeeded teaching first and second grade. Because they're going to get to a place where they're going to have to do stuff they may not want to do. So developing that will through my authority, your authority as teacher, is really key. And so I don't want to harp on that too much, but that is a huge thing to me. It's having these children love being in school. Education, Steiner said, at this age should be based on joy and happiness. So, all that said, second grade we have this wonderful opportunity to present them with legends, traditionally known as saint legends. I call them wisdom figures. To me, the world is too big to call them saint legends anymore. I don't just do Christian wisdom figures in my class. If the goal was to get them to develop, if it's to help them develop character and good inclinations and a conscience through this growing life force, to give them these wonderful pictures to emulate, the world's just too big to give them just from one particular tradition. Now, we're not talking religion, we're not talking proselytizing and dogma and trying to convert. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about giving living images and examples of people who have transformed themselves through heavenly powers, you could say, through the power of the divine, through their own hard work, to overcome things in themselves, to eventually come to a place of service of themselves and humanity, to give them these wonderful legends. And so I give them glimpses of these people. The Baal Shem Tov from the Hebrew tradition, several Christian mystics, of course, St. Francis, that kind of thing. But I don't shy away from modern people either. I gave them a glimpse of Mother Teresa, gave them a glimpse of Martin Luther King Jr., gave them a glimpse of people, Josephina Bakhita, modern African saint, wisdom figure. And give them flavors of that. And not too crazy on the images. I know that sounds sort of heretical, but if we give a first and second grade child too many images, then we're sort of saturating that feeling life, and they just get dreamy, and they don't know what's going on. So give them a picture. Steiner, I think it's in Education with the Child, says, give them these rich images so they can divine within themselves what they're supposed to learn. I don't preach, I don't give them the lesson or the moral, I give them the image and the opportunity for them to take it in so they can learn what they need to learn. I trust them that these beings who've come down and are before me, I trust their inclinations, I trust their wisdom, that they will form the images within themselves that they want and need. So, my goal, help them be comfortable and use stories like the saint legends, wisdom figures, people like that from around the world, modern and ancient. And some people like to say in second grade you're putting this juxtaposition between the foibles of the fables and the wisdom figures. And I personally don't like that idea. Because I find a lot of wonderful wisdom in the fables. These animal things. I don't put it in my mind like that, animal wisdom figure. I just don't. Because you look at the crow in the pitcher, the fable of the crow in the pitcher. The crow's thirsty, and there's a little bit of water in that pitcher, and the crow doesn't give up. It thinks this through. It starts putting pebbles in the pitcher, and the water rises, and then the crow can get that water. That is a wonderful image of wisdom. Many of the fables are like that. Of course there's the fox and the grapes. Of course there's those kinds of things where the monkey puts his hand in the jar and can't get it out, unless he lets go of the treat. Those are important too, those little images. Giving little pictures of nature, things that I've seen on my way to school. Little images that they can live with. So, my first class, and maybe even a little bit in my second grade, I did a wisdom figure block for language arts and math, and then a fables block. This time around, my third time teaching second grade, I wove them together. So in one block, I may give a fable, and I may give a wisdom figure in the same week. And I want their quote-unquote animal natures not to be conquered, but transformed and used in a way that can help in their formative forces to develop good habits. I mean, the ultimate goal, I want them to have egos down the road that are strong enough through their habits and inclinations that they formed to make wise decisions in their thoughts and in their feelings, right? So, fables. And I didn't just give Aesop either, in the same way I didn't give just Christian legends. I gave fables from around the world, Buddhist fables, the Anansi stories, the wonderful Anansi stories of the spider. Great stories. And I'm thinking that this video may end up being a three-part series because, gosh, Waldorf teachers like to yak. So I'm going to stop in a minute and let you digest what I've said so far. But to sum it up before we move on. Goals for second grade. Help them be comfortable and love being there. Love each other and love you. Using stories and images. Not too much. I know that sounds crazy, but not too many images. But enough to awaken their own powers of forming their own mental pictures. Let them form the pictures. I give them an example. I do a drawing. Great. Guide them through that. That's wonderful. But let them form the pictures within themselves. That's what's going to last. So, still laying the groundwork for the future in second grade, in my opinion. And how about before we stop, I'll give just a little bit of, I want to say just a few words about what I just said about having them draw, for example, in their morning lesson book, an image that you've given. I, of course, guide drawing still in second grade, but not always. Not always. I want to give them good techniques, how to shade, blend, form, compose a picture. But too much, I think, is relied upon in the recall of a story, in the oral and the drawing. So have them orally recall it, which is good, and then, oh, okay, draw a picture. I think it's become a little bit of a crutch, in my opinion. Don't forget about beeswax. Don't forget about drama as ways for them to do something with what you've given. And also, another thing, I think, at least I used to be really worried about the way my morning lesson books for my students looked. They had to be perfect because, you know, they were used as marketing tools at open houses and things like that, and parents, and I wanted them to look a certain way. And now I've really changed my attitude about morning lesson books. To me, they're works in progress. It's the children's way of forming an image with their senses, right? With their eyes and their hands in a drawing, in writing, in written form, of something that I've given them. They've processed it, and there it is. So it doesn't need to be perfect. Allow them to form those images and have them be works in progress, and not be afraid of what they'll look like if they're quote-unquote not perfect in that way. So, I'll stop there for now. This is part one of second grade, and we'll come back in the next video and talk some more. Alright, this is Joseph Anthony of tappingwithmusic.com saying thanks for watching, and hope to see you again.